Hey everybody, welcome again to a very special edition of the Good Guy Roadhouse. We have with us Dr. Ravenen himself, James Filanowski,
right here.
Actor extraordinaire of Lights Out Rowan.
Thank you.
It's like, do you know how many people, when they watch the movie with me, Lights Out Rowan, say, how'd you get the guy from Rocky Horror to be in your movie?
All right.
There's no temporal thing. That movie was made in the 70s. Tim Curry's 65 years old now. But they think I was able to get the guy from Rocky Horror.
I hitched a ride in the TARDIS.
That's right. That's right.
Is that Doctor Who?
Doctor Who.
Oh,
Shout out to Doctor Who.
Score. What do you like to see when you're adventuring in
Do
the
tell.
Well, someone that's patient, especially with new people, because the new people are the ones that are going to be carrying this game on to the next generation, and so on and so on and so on. So if you have an impatient DM with a new player, that new player is probably not going to want to play anymore.
Now, have you played with your daughter yet? Or you...
She's hooked on Skyrim.
Oh, now that's a good point. But about the whole next generation thing, I mean, when the first thing you encounter is Skyrim or Baldur's Gate or Lord of the Rings, are you really going to be enticed when somebody comes along and says, hey, did you know there's a version of this with paper and pencil and dice?
She wants to learn.
What was that Dragon magazine thing, where all the adventurers were around that says, oh yeah, we sit around and roll dice and imagine ourselves as accountants and insurance salesmen.
Exactly.
It's called papers and paychecks.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
Attention to detail, but not too much detail. Mr. 12 by 12 Stone Corridor, you know who you are.
Oh yeah.
It sounded like when I read the book, the Elfish Gene.
Yeah.
He talked about one night's adventuring being in some campaigns that he's run. It's like you got to go find the special button for your leather armor.
That's right. That's right.
The minutia. He said it doesn't sound as boring as it sounds, but it's still pretty boring.
I derived most of my adventures, like I said before, from movies.
Really? What movies have you derived adventures from? I love deriving adventures from movies.
Crawl was like the big one.
Crawl?
Yeah.
All right. That's an old school movie.
I even created a character for myself when I played with Cyclops, which was from like the Cyclops from Crawl, where he could see his own death. And I would always cheat my own death because I would tell the dungeon master ahead of time that I can see when I'm going to die. And I know when I'm going to die. And if that changes, you have to tell me.
That's quite a little loophole there.
That is pretty good. You're going to see your own death.
So
so if you're the Tomb of Horrors and the Sphere now, annihilation is in that yawning mouth. You would know that you would die if you went through that.
We need you to go into this room filled with booby traps with poison-tipped arrows to get this goblin at the end of this long corridor with spikes and axes and acid. And I'd be like, am I going to die? Yes, then I'm not going.
Yeah, doing anything precognitive would be a real challenge for a dungeon master.
I used to drive people crazy. They wouldn't let me play him after a while. Can't imagine why.
That's right.
Because... at first you have these new player characters and everything is interesting and everything's easy to handle first through third level. Then they start getting fourth or fifth and they get a little bit powerful. Then you get to fight a fairly substantial bad guy and take him down. Then you're getting up to seventh level and you're starting to creep up to raise dead and teleport and all these really powerful spells.
See, I never played magic users. I always played like the guy with the big axe. And I always, that's another thing I always found out.
We know someone just like it. Were you a mini-maxer? You look like a mini-maxer. You're so min-maxer. Come on. You were the power guy, weren't you? You had to kill everything, didn't you?
I was the guy that would run blindly into eternal damnation just because I thought I could win.
You're right. Do you play barbarians a lot?
Barbarians.
Well, I guess the Cyclops probably is kind of a barbarian, not precognitive.
But he was smart. Because think about the movie, he was wise in the movie.
Right, he was. Yeah.
He wasn't an idiot, but, he was just,
He was an interesting character. Crawl's underrated.
Yes, it is. Anyway.
Another episode of At the Movies.
I have no trouble with a stable approach to that kind of teleporting, where you go up to the stable and then all of a sudden you're there, but then once you're there, you have to walk around.
Yeah.
There's the range, and also there's some things built in that I think maybe some DMs forget or just neglect to enforce. I mean, but there seem to be some restrictions on You have to kind of have a visual of the place, or you have to know it pretty well.
Yeah, that's the teleport with no air, but then people will just launch out, and then the campaign's over when they wind up teleporting below 25 feet.
You teleport into a wall. Or you teleport into a gelatinous cube.
That's right. At a certain point, there have to be some consequences. I mean, but I understand your point.
Yeah, I tried to never do that as a player. I try to never
Cheat.
challenge the DM
With your impending death.
because I don't want them doing something.
See,
You know?
Right.
But
see.
you can wind up into really painfully boring nights
yes.
of adventure where you just want it to end, and death would be a merciful way to end it. You know?
I always find that people play the characters as a DM. I always thought that people played the characters that they can't be themselves.
You know, one of my favorite guys to play is Max von Sydow as the Exorcist. He's really old.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he's after demons, but he's not very strong anymore. I really like that character. It's almost like a Call of Cthulhu level guy. Except, yeah. So I found myself kind of getting out of that, you know, that reckless fantasy, and just wanting to kind of improve on the kind of the quality of the play.
Well,
you know,
as a DM, when I ran games, I would always do that too. I'd always like I would challenge the players.
Yeah, I think we're talking more about like clues and mysteries.
Yeah,
Things
mysteries
like that.
are great.
But I mean, if you don't have, access to the big book of all answers, which is what the cheat codes and everything else is, your only way to find out is to
put it on.
Here's the thing that I like. I mean, as a DM and as a player is like something like that you don't expect. The little old lady who's got this. And here's the preparation that I like. In case that's intriguing to me, I mean, why does she have that? How did she come by that? To me, there's a little story there too. That as a player, I mean,
oh yeah,
I can choose. I can try to. God, I'm going to look into that. I'm going to see if I can figure that out. Oh well, I've got a backstory for that, so we can go that way. Or I may have something else I'm doing, and I'm glad she didn't just blow me to smithereens, and now I'm going to leave this shop forever. But those are some things that I really like. The unexpected, the little stories, these little mysteries that sometimes can add up, to one big like conspiracy or mystery or something that's going on.
Yeah. Now, one thing as a GM and as a player that I think creates tension is this notion of the campaign and versus the adventure. And if you're running a campaign and you put a lot of story investment and you're only like 25% through that story investment with these characters, and then they do something stupid and they all die and the campaign's over.
So you're talking about almost like campaign with almost a quest element. Like there's a central narrative that you're very involved in.
When the cave troll kills the fellowship, party wipe, well, the book's over.
Yeah.
Trying to keep people interested sometimes in the main story. And not go all wander off and get drunk at the tavern.
I'm one of the worst breadcrumb leavers around, and players like Bailey will almost always take the bait.
I always took the bait.
They were in the sewers. They were in the countryside. They were bull riding.
Oh, shiny clue.
And I'm like that. I'm that kind of guy too. Like when I'm playing like Lord of the Rings Online, and I go to a quest hub, and there's the central quest that's going on. I have to do all the side quests. There can't be a quest ring left in a quest hub.
I hate that. That drives me crazy. If I see a quest in there, it can't be there anymore. 20 years just to get to the library. How awesome is that world? Think about it. That's an awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to play in it.
There was a lot. This is
guess what world that is?
That's the one.
It's the world of Atlas. It's the one that you were doing a Good Guy Roadhouse for.
That's right. 20 years.
That's really one of our goals here with the world of Atlas is to create such a detailed Skyrim level world at every single country that you adventure in,
so that you can just. It took a long time to get into that library.
Yeah, you can just go in. And just, you have to do all those quest rings before
You get to the library.
We
before you
took a
get
very
to the library.
circuitous route.
Yeah, if you want to. If you want to smell the roses, there are plenty of roses to smell. Yeah,
I can't think.
look details.
I couldn't think of wanting to play 20 years, except for maybe a handful of adventures that I've been in. But that you were interested that long to keep going.
That's right.
That says something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, maybe you'll get to play with us here
I
one
hope
of
so.
these times in one of these games. And
Rich just kept putting the breadcrumbs down there, and we kept going. Ooh,
yeah, I can't wait. I can't. Yeah,
Oh,
this is
breadcrumb.
making me want to go play right now. You know, too bad it's too late tonight
Like,
for us to do this.
focus.
But I got a very special announcement to make. You know that we're going to be wrapping up here. Our Good Guy Roadhouse is.
Oh yeah, right.
As we mentioned early on, is.
Did we get all our talking points?
I think we hit all our time.
What? Oh,
All
one
of
talking
one.
point.
I knew that's all we needed.
Our talking point.
I needed. We only
So,
needed one. When
right.
Jim's here, all we
That's
need is
right.
one. You know.
I could keep going.
One talking point.
Right, but I want to make this special announcement is that we're creating, based off his character from the movie Lights Out Rowan, Dr. Ravenen's
yes.
Fairy Castle, which is going to be a very fun adventure. We're going to do a video walkthrough of it with
Very good.
Dr. Ravenen himself narrating the descriptions of the different
Cool.
parts of the Fairy Castle. So we're very excited. We appreciate you very much for coming down to the Good Guy Roadhouse.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for having me.
everybody look forward to that because I can't wait to play it myself. When we
I
do
want to
that.
play. Let's play.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's play that. All right, let's roll some dice. Get the bags out. Get the graph paper.
Exactly. That's right.
I missed the
Pen and
graphic.
paper.
All right, thanks everybody, and we'll see you real soon on the Good Guy Roadhouse.
Bye.
Bye.